so thank you. much kinder than what I wrote anyways. So yeah, just to recap, I come from artificial intelligence. I have more than 10 years experience in that. Used to be in Google, and about 3 years ago I founded a company called Logograph. That's a fairly old picture of us. Now we're about twice that size, and that's the lovely office that Jane was telling you about. But the new one is going to be even cooler. I should have a clicker. Okay, so what Logograph does is basically attracting, engaging, and keeping a tab on customers. We help large companies like Disney, McDonald's, Heineken in their effort on augmented reality and social media to keep their consumer base engaged and to monitor their usage, the usage of their product on social media. So today we're going to talk about the mass adoption of AR, augmented reality, and we see how this looks like and how to enable it. So obviously we're going to look at a lot of very cool 3D technologies which are enabled through our platform. Animations, cool pop-up things from phones and all the kind of crazy things that you can imagine. Are you excited? Yeah. Good, because we're not going to see any of that. In fact, there's not going to be any 3D in this presentation. It's kind of a bummer for a talk at 3Dcamp. It's more of a 2Dcamp, this one, but for good reasons. So stay tuned. Why good reasons? Well, because mass adoption of a technology looks a little different compared to the first incarnation of augmented reality that we've seen so far, especially on mobile devices. We've seen a lot of gimmicky content. I mean gimmicky in a good way, because it attracts in the short term the consumer to try out that little interaction, like pointing your phone at a car poster and seeing the car pop up in 3D. I mean, that's good gimmick because it gets people attracted. But then in the long run, in order to make this a tool that is used by 60% of the population, that looks a little bit different. And so in order to facilitate this explanation, I'm going to use an analogy, the World Wide Web analogy, and see and take a look in hindsight how that thing became mass adopted. So back in time, or in other words, I had a good quote here. Web 1.0 was a lot like the 80s. So I have my nice little chart here to describe what I mean. So back in the 80s, things were very square, blocky, colorful, and so were websites in the first generation of the World Wide Web. Things were flashy. Yeah, I can't argue with that. So here's the blog, the webpage of Rasputin Kunden, which I have no idea who he is, but let's suppose Rasputin is your cousin, and now every time you want to get a status update about your cousin, you want to see where he went on vacation, you want to check out his daughter pictures, you need to go on his homepage, which is this one, and let alone risking an epileptic attack every time you do that. But everyone designed his own thing, basically. So you would go, very different experience, every different website. You could go on GeoCities, create your own, and would look different compared to me, that did the flashy background. So very heterogeneous, very different experience across many, many different websites. And most of all, Web 1.0 at some point was that's just useless. I mean, I want to focus for a second on this example you see in the bottom right. So here's a young woman, I suppose, which is expressing her appreciation for the musical talent of Justin. Which Justin is this? That's Timberlake. So that's the old Justin, not the new Justin, which is Bieber. I did my homework, and so she put up a whole website for it. So she would have her own domain, which is ilovejustintimberlake.com. She would put up pictures, she would design it her own way, etc., etc. So think of something like Facebook today, where basically the information about 3 billion, no, what is it, maybe 1.8 billion now, people are on one single website. Imagine a world where that doesn't exist, and each of us has a very different website designed with, sometimes with taste, sometimes with lack of taste, like in the case of Rasputin. Imagine that kind of world would be very, very difficult to access all the information consistently. So now back to augmented reality. That's undeniably the next big media consumption channel. Like the web has been, and it's actually transforming the media creation channel. Now let's have a look. Let's try to apply the learning from the World Wide Web to augmented reality. And just to put a name on it, by augmented reality here we mean get more content out of something by taking a picture of it. I think it's important to also, with different flavors of augmented reality now popping up, but that's the definition we're going to use right now. So all the stats, you look at any chart, any report from Gartner, it's just growing at an unbelievable rate. But now, one thing to keep in mind, that's probably the first observation around